And we're back with another episode of Brew Your Mind. And for those that are here for the first time and joining us and new, welcome to the podcast where we get to drink coffee and beer and you get to sit back and listen to us ramble about what's on our minds. I'm Justin.
Oh, brother, I like that. You changed up the little intro a little bit there. That is Justin, and I am Jesse, of course. Hotel room Jesse again.
Of course.
You know, it's
Still
great.
Still out in Arizona.
Out here in Arizona. So if you listened to us last week, you know that I'm in the hotel. Look at this behind me. If you want to see this, you can watch this on YouTube. All right, this will be posted. Brew Your Mind Pod on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Okay. And check it out. It's fun. But yeah, I'm still down here. I'm down here on a work trip in Arizona. And I am ready. I'm so ready to get out of here. I'm so bored. I got 1 week left.
Dude, it's flying by from the outside, I guess. I'd say probably not from the inside.
I've played so much Zelda.
Oh, before you go into that, what are you drinking?
Yeah, so, we get to talk about what we drink on here. We're drinking a little coffee or beer or something. Mm-hmm. I got coffee.
We brewing.
Here it is right here. So I brewed I got a little coffee maker in here. And today, what's my camera doing? Not focusing? Crazy. Today I actually got a little Starbucks Pike Place.
Ooh,
okay.
A little pee-pee.
Got a little oat milk in
What's
there.
What's that oat milk
do
to the coffee for those that are not familiar?
Man, it's... All right. You ever be like sitting there and then you're like, man, I want this music real loud.
Yeah.
And then you crank it up to like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
And you're like, this ain't good enough.
Uh-huh.
It'd be like you take oat milk and pour it all over that radio or whatever. You trying to turn it up.
Tell me more.
And it goes to 11.
Oh.
And it just sets that sucker right off, way up.
Turn
up.
What
I'm saying? That's what it does.
Turn up.
All right. So it's good if you ain't tried it before. It'll make your coffee just a dream come true. Justin, that's all I got, man. I'm telling you, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's what we say around here.
Don't fix it. Yeah, so
that's right.
Before I dive into mine, I'm really, really excited about mine. But in regards to the coffee and the creamer or what you throw into it, so just recently, the other day, I purchased Cinnamon Toast Crunch Creamer. Yeah. Normally I do the hazelnut grind, where I just do a little splash, a little dollop of daisy. But this time, I switched it up. And cinnamon is actually really good in coffee. And for those that haven't tried it, give it a go. But this Cinnamon Toast Crunch, it is delicious. But today, what I have today, like I said, I'm really excited about this. And shout out to my man, Pat, my teammate that I work with, works in the guard down here for a little bit longer. Fellow Wisconsinite. So me and him have that rich heritage. He brought down, and he barely knew me, right? So it's like one of my first days on the team with him. And he brings in cases of New Glarus Brewing Company Spotted Cow. Pretty much gold for those that live in Wisconsin and those that moved away from Wisconsin. They can't get it. You want to know why? This can only be sold in the state. There's been people that's been fined and had their bartender license taken away when they tried to sell it in their bar, like in Minnesota and Illinois. No, you can't do it. Cannot cross the state line and be sold. But my man Pat came through and gave me a 12-pack of the most delicious beer that I've ever had. Farmhouse Ale, people. Wow, I'm really amping this up and hyping it, and I love it. I'm here for it. Jesse still there?
I was still there. I was just in the zone listening. That was a good story.
Hey, Jesse, that was my story. Yeah, Pat, hey, thanks again, man. Really appreciate it. I golfed with him yesterday. I got a little sunburn, But Pat, thanks very much. I'm going to have a sip of this.
This better be good because this sounds like some contraband level stuff.
It's so good that it should be illegal.
There it is. There's that real true laugh, I know.
It's funny because it kind of reminds me of and maybe that's probably why it tastes so good because it's on like that Yingling level. I think it's better than Yingling, but you know how Yingling, you can only get it in certain parts of the states. And everyone's like, oh, Yingling's so good. But really it's like, yeah, it's good, but you just can't get it everywhere.
It's just that forbidden fruit type of mentality.
Yeah. And
when you can't have it anymore, all of a sudden you're like,
Exactly.
It's got an extra little zing to it.
Yeah.
Now,
But yeah, so this is what I got. I'm really excited. I'm trying to make these last because I don't know the next time I'll be able to be a proud owner of a spotted cow. But here we are. Jesse and Justin are back again. Jesse is full of energy. You can tell it in the sound of his voice. We actually spontaneously, before we got on, Jesse was like, "Hey, I'm about to include you in this Instagram live," and we did Instagram live, and we had about like 150 people join, and a bunch of questions, comments dropped in there. So hey, this may be like a normal thing, and we just do it before the episode. I loved it, Jesse. I love that spontaneous action. Yeah, we're here, and we don't have a green
yeah, that
screen
was
again.
fun.
You know, we're just chilling, looking good, looking pretty. Hotel room, man cave, Justin and Jesse.
Yeah, we'll get back to our normal, broadcasting here soon. Kind of, because then I'm going to get back and I'm going to be moving to Georgia. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a crazy time.
Yep.
Anyway, we got quite a list of topics here for you today. I actually did some prep work for this one.
He did.
You know, I'm not just coming in.
Big facts.
Just woke up from a nap and just, half-assing it.
Yeah.
Like I normally do. But today we got a few topics. Well, first we'll talk, I guess.
I want you to tell me about Arizona. I know you got some good stuff going on over there. How's it going, man?
Well,
level with me.
I got a great story the other day. We were doing the paintball. So I'm in this course down here, which is like a Air Force course, but it's only for Air Force personnel, but it's made to make you familiar with the ways of the Army or whatever. So part of it is doing a simulated squad movement type of stuff, and then we have paintball guns, and we're out in these fields and just, going through the motions of doing them, getting shot at by like 3 of our other people here sitting somewhere in the woods. And, it's not as fun as you would think.
Sounds
actually.
awesome.
And we all took turns like leading the squads and this and that. And I don't think I got hit with a paintball once, actually. It's kind of lame.
You a savage.
None of the guns really work that well. They're all kind of crappy. Anyway, there was one day that I was a team leader, and I was supposed to take my Bravo team and kind of position myself, flanking around the left or right of the opposition. This is all just like, running through the same movements. Like Alpha will sit, suppress fire, and then squad leader will tell Team Bravo, we're going to do this. So then I'm supposed to take Team Bravo and move to whatever, So I'm like, all right, I got this. I'm taking over. We're going to flank this team. All right, so I'm trying to get my 3 other guys in position. And then while I do that, the squad leader decides to come with us, and he's a lieutenant here. And he decides to, trail along in the back, and instead of, doing what I'm wanting everyone to do, move around the left and get behind cover and then fire, he just starts yelling orders.
Oh, no.
Like this and that. And then he yells you hear that thunder?
Thunder rolls.
Probably not. But he yells there's like a few signs we yell out, and he ends up yelling very early shift fire, which in our situation is just like the simulation is kind of over. We just kind of then progress over the objective, and it's over. Everyone stops shooting in this simulation. So we get done. He yells shift fire before we're even in position at all. And then I'm just like, what the heck happened? And then so everyone stops shooting, and then we just walk over. The guys are playing dead. The other, the opposition, we move their guns, and then we stand there. And I'm like, so pissed. I'm like, because it made me look bad. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, that was over. And everyone's kind of confused. And then the cadre guy in charge of it, he's a sergeant first class. And he gets over to our group. He's like, bring it in. He's like, what the hell happened? And he's like, who's Bravo team lead? And I was like, I'm in front of everyone. I was like, that was me. He was like, what happened? Just like scolding me. And I was like, I was trying to get he said, what should have happened? I was like, well, obviously I was trying to get them over to the left behind cover and then flank, and progress. Mm-hmm. He was like, well, what happened? And I was like, I didn't want to blame this guy, lieutenant in front of everyone. Yeah. Like, well, he just started barking orders. So I just said, I was like, stuff just started going crazy, and, squad leader yelled some orders, and we just followed the squad leader. He was like, is that what you're supposed to do? And so it was just embarrassing. I got scolded in front of everyone, and everyone's after was like, damn, dude, we knew that wasn't your fault. And I was just so mad, so frustrated. And I think it was a good kind of frustration. I just we got done. Ooh, that was a big strike right out the window. I got done and I just went out and like punished myself with a jog. Like it was my fault, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
But it was, and then one of the other guys I was talking to here, he's like, that's a good sign you were frustrated because you knew it could have went better, like you didn't settle. And I was like, that's a good way to look at it. It made me feel better. So I think what I took out of that is, if you ever come across any situation where you didn't do something as well as you wanted to, instead of just saying, whatever, it's not a big deal. Mm-hmm. I'm just here for training. Yeah. I could have just said that. But I really just wanted to do it again and redeem myself. I didn't get to, but doesn't matter.
It showed a good quality about you too. Like you could have easily, thrown a specific person under the bus, done some name calling. But instead you also took ownership, and I think at the time you're probably a little embarrassed, but I could only imagine the amount of respect that you probably gained from other people. Like you said, they were already saying, like, man, dude, we knew it wasn't your fault and everything. So they probably appreciated you even more for that, and that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
You got to get that kind of stuff out of those kind of experiences. Because, at the time, I've been there, you're probably beating yourself up a little bit, and the embarrassment's building up, and you're just, like you said, you're frustrated. But then it's the positives that now you and I, we can talk about, especially on this pod, after you talk about the story, you can kind of like pull from it, build from that, and just forget about the negative part of this dude trying to scold you and be the bigger person,
Yeah, it was kind of tough to deal with, but that's kind of like, I hate to be the weak link. That's why I don't like to play a lot of sports unless I know I can be good enough to contribute something. So I don't play a lot of sports because I never get to the point where I feel like, I don't know. I just don't like to be I get embarrassed, I guess, easy when I'm not up to par, which is good and bad. You just want to keep pushing yourself to be better.
Absolutely.
But I don't know. But yeah, that's all that's going on. Nothing else here. I'm almost done. Mm-hmm. Like I said, it's cool to be here.
Good experience.
Great group of guys, but that's all I got about Arizona. Hopefully someone can take a good lesson from that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Use that as fuel.
Build it up.
Just better yourself.
No ceilings.
No ceilings, dude.
I say that because Lil Wayne just dropped his. He said he dropped the album that he already had out before, but now he dropped it on all streaming platforms. No ceilings. And he dropped it as Kobe Bryant song. So just been jamming to that, just been turning it up, getting wild up in here, bro. Just set that sucker.
Oh Lord. Jamming to that.
Yeah, man. I gotta say, so I'm wearing Fear the Deer shirt. Bucks just played. They won. They're moving on to the second round. Also wearing the Crown Supply hat. Shout out Tev. Wearing this because my man just dropped some joggers clothing line.
I want those.
I know. I'm about to pull the trigger. So go check out the crownsupply.store.com and you can check out all the goods he has. He got some awesome stuff. But yeah.
I love it.
Here we are. Dude, I got to talk about this because this is before we dive into any of the topics. But last night I was just... what was I playing? I think I was playing golf. By the way, I downloaded PGA Tour. I've been playing a lot of golf on PlayStation, so that's real fun, right? But while I'm playing, I see on Twitter that Chadwick Boseman passed away.
Yeah.
And, I'm just like, what? And it's even crazier because, he's known as Black Panther, and he's done other roles as well, specifically, played in the Jackie Robinson film, 42. And it's crazy because yesterday was Jackie Robinson Day, and he actually filmed it 7 years before yesterday. And
dude, I didn't even realize that was him in that movie till now.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Anyway.
But yeah, and then today, there's some awesome points. Do you remember that picture went viral of him? He was looking really skinny, kind of rough. Do you remember that back then?
I don't think so.
There was that viral image of him and just looking completely opposite of what he is. And people were making memes out of it and jokes, calling him Crack Panther or something like that, just because he looks so skinny. And then come to find out, we just found out yesterday he's had colon cancer for 4 years, and no one knew. No one. Dude's filmed all these films. Part of the Black Panther, all the Avengers, filmed all that stuff, and while having colon cancer, dude, and just no one knew. It's just crazy, and that's why it's you never know what somebody is going through. You never know unless you hear it from the person's mouth themselves or from their mouth themselves. So it's like seeing that, it made me take a step back. We always talk. We mentioned on this pod before about judging people, and we have our stereotypes and all that kind of stuff. I just find it kind of like eye opening. Like you just never know what someone's going through.
I was thinking about not really like what he's done and the impact and all that, but I love someone who handles their life with a certain sense of like stoicism, or like he could have came out and said all this and that, that he's battling colon cancer or whatever, but he chose not to. But why would he do that? I don't know. Maybe he didn't want anyone to feel any bit of sorry for him, or maybe it was just privacy. You know what I'm saying? He didn't want to feel like any sort of a victim. And I'm not saying people that come out and say, look, I have cancer, I'm going to beat this, that they're looking for points. I'm not saying that. But I feel like it was interesting that he chose to only use his platform and himself for others, it seems like. You know what I mean? To bring up others. And he knew how motivational of a role he landed in. You know what I'm saying? And how much strength and admiration that created. So I think it's amazing that he chose not to make anything about himself. I feel like I never heard. He seems like a humble, hardworking, not self-centered at all type of guy. And I want everyone to at least think about the way he chose to handle that privately. I think that's my favorite.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing. Rest in peace to him, man. But what a great life. That's the point, right? What a great short, but I mean,
absolutely. You could tell
he did more with his life. Yeah.
You could tell the impact that he left behind. I mean, just today in the sports world. I mean, over in England, they're playing like their first Premier League game. Someone scores, and his goal celebration is, like the Black Panther crossing his arms for, respect. And then we're seeing it in like the race car world. And then they're doing a part of the moment of silence before the basketball game for him. And then you got Barack Obama tweeting about him. And I mean, it's just like the impact and the range of people that he's actually left the impact is just amazing. And it's just, you think about that, but you also think about while he was alive, how you never really heard his name. Or you never heard him in the middle of a controversy, or you never heard, you never heard, Chadwick, saying this, Chadwick saying that. Nothing. If anything, you've heard pretty much positive things. And if that's the type of role model that someone should follow, then if it's not the type of role model, then I don't know who is. So I just had to mention that because I was just floored last night. At 43 years old, it's just wild, and no one even knew. It just opened my eyes up a little bit,
Yeah, you've never heard anything, him getting into politics or any kind of drama or anything, which I'm not saying if you're outspoken, into politics, it's bad, but I feel like there's certain roles that people gravitate to or role models, and he's definitely someone, the way he handled his life and his hardship is exactly the way I want to do my life, you know what I'm saying? I would want people to think of me the same way.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of tough, though. We're thinking this after he's passed away. And, we probably wouldn't even mention his name or, think... I don't know. There'd have to be, something significant to be like, yes, Chadwick, you're the role model. You're the man. Other than that, he was, so humble and so, behind the scenes, he felt like that no one was really talking about, what we're talking about now,
yeah.
So it's interesting. It's really interesting, but, yeah, here we are.
Yeah, what a great impact. Actually, moving on to the next little part here. So I've touched on before, I've been talking about the silver bullets, which is...
Yeah.
I have it here. I found it.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to hold it up to the camera here. It just says Carnivore Leadership Professional Development. All right, this is written by Chief Master Sergeant in the Air Force, Ramon Colin Lopez or whatever. I don't know the guy, but whatever. All right, so each time we do this, I'm going to read off one of these because there's quite a bit of the bullets. There's 20, okay, 20 silver bullets. Number 1, I think this goes back to talking about men and women of greatness we were just talking about. Number 1 here, it says, if you want to fly with the eagles, don't hang around the turkeys. And then it says below, exactly what it sounds like, but we are products of our environment. Ensure association with successful and motivated personnel and stay away from the naysayers and slackers. Attitudes are very contagious. Mm-hmm. Exude a positive attitude and set the tone for others. Yes! So true. You know, I'm like a broken record because this is the type of stuff that we touch on every time.
Every time.
But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Look, this is what we want. We want to keep sharpening each other, exuding a positive attitude.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I think that's very important to watch out who you hang out with. So just think about that one and then evaluate your life. I'm not saying cut off your friends and stuff, but be careful who you hang out with.
You may have to trim some fat.
You may have to. Oh, Lord.
That's a great point,
All right.
Jesse. Thank you for bringing that up, and I love it. Let's get a bullet every episode, something people can build off of, hopefully, and take in, and they're not just
Take that
they're not just
motivation.
they're not just here. We don't want you just here. We want you actively involved.
That's
Jesse,
right.
so Jesse crushed the pregame prep work. I had him back in the locker room, and he was like, Justin, this is what we're going to do this is the game plan. All right. And I was like, Jesse, this is fantastic work. And we're in the locker room getting ready, getting our uniform on. And I look at this pregame game plan. This sports analogy is getting stupid. So there's one topic, Jesse, that unless you want to pick one, I have one that'd be, I think out of these, that'd be great to dive into.
Yeah, I have about 1 million.
I know. So
Topics
that's why
that
I was
I
going
went
to
to.
pick, just because you can't decide. I'm just kidding. You already know.
No,
You
go for it.
you found this from Reddit, right? Ask Men topic.
Ooh, yeah, I just added that in.
Yeah, I know. I just saw it, and I
yeah.
love it. So this is what we're talking about. What's some things every man should own, know how to do, or have done by the age 30? This is good. 'Cause how old are you, Jesse?
I'm 32.
Okay.
And a lot of these are true. These just come with age, I think. So yeah, if you've never ventured onto Reddit, it's not all trolls and this and that. Some great stuff on there. So this is a subreddit called Ask Men. It's often just other men asking vague questions and whatever pops off popular. It just works. Oh, my little light just cut off. Why'd that happen? Did it die?
That's weird.
I
Because
guess
we're
it
in
did.
serious now.
Well,
Set the mood.
now the video is going to be a little darker.
Still
But this is a subreddit of just a bunch of people. It is what it sounds like. Ask men, So, yeah, I found this one. And I'm just going to go down the line of some of the top submissions. And so number 1, and we can talk about each one.
Absolutely.
Justin. But number 1 here is be able to admit you're wrong and / deal with your emotions.
See, this
such
is
as
a tough one
anger
because
and stuff.
men, I think in general, will like to label themselves as emotionless sometimes, like they don't have emotions or they don't show emotions.
Yeah.
So starting there, how could a man deal with their emotion? I think, first of all, recognizing and admitting that they do have emotions and accepting them for what they are. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I do wrestle with this one because there's two different messages I get from this often. And it's usually a lot of men will often preach how being stoic about things, not necessarily emotionless, but stoic, which I guess we could get deeper into that, but it's kind of, we're just going to talk about it in this sense. Stoic is basically being emotionless, unbothered, not complaining. it sounds good. And then there's also the other side, the message that we often hear, typically from women, I guess, a lot of times, is to just open up about your emotions a lot more. Cry if you want to, or be a lot more sensitive. And then, so there's these mixed messages sometimes. And you can dive down deeper into it and realize you can be both of those things. But what I wrestle with is sometimes knowing when exactly to be stoic and when exactly to be wide open, and sharing your emotions with friends or whoever. I think that's when I kind of struggle because, people can be judgmental. Men can be judgmental. I can be. So if I have a guy who's my friend but I'm not super close with, and I think you're probably the same, Justin, because I don't think you open up very easily to other dudes either. But I don't think you're stifling things. I just think it's different. I just think it's when some people can open up too much, it makes me want to kind of get away from them a little bit because it's a delicate balance because it seems like they're just a little bit unstable, right? So when do you know when to exactly open up? I think you have to be selective.
Very.
Exactly. You have to keep your circles small, and I think you have to first establish the people that you trust with those emotions. You can't just throw it around, talking about.
Can't wear your heart
things.
on your sleeve.
Because the minute you open up, you're going to feel vulnerable, and if someone doesn't receive you well and get deep in the conversation with you, you're going to feel stupid.
You're not going to open up again.
Yeah, you're not going to. And that's happened to me, that, when something important comes along and you open up to one of your good friends or whatever, and then they just don't get it. Like, you're like, shit, I don't want to do that again. That was embarrassing and weird.
Yep.
Now maybe they're judging me or something. I don't know. But I think it's important to know that it's okay. You just have to be honest with yourself. Because I think of my dad. My dad's sensitive and sweet, but I've never seen him cry. So the fact that, I don't think he's a tough guy putting on any act. I think that's just how he is. And the same with you. I don't feel like you stifle yourself and hold things in. I think that's just you choose to be more private about things, which is admirable because there's so many people that share too much, I think, all of the time.
Especially in today's age where you have social media a couple fingertips away and you could just pour everything out on any platform. And it makes it easier for you to communicate with others what you're going through. And it gives, it's easier for people to try to relate to you. But at the same time, you're exposing that stuff to the world. Once it's out there, that's it. There's no coming back. So, like you said, you got to be selective of who you decide to open up with and where your trust lies. Lies? Where your trust lies? Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I concur.
For sure. I just think it's like a blanket statement. I often see, like stupid Twitter. You always see those viral, I don't know. You'll see a lot of those messages are just like men just need to open up about their emotions. But it's a blanket statement. Not all men are the same.
That's the thing.
And
not all women, just cry profusely.
Right.
We're saying in general, this is what the common consensus is.
Yeah, I think you just have to get to just be honest with yourself. If you're more sensitive than your other guy friends are, that's okay.
Embrace it.
If you're more private and you don't like to talk about things, then that's okay too, because I can be that way too. When I'm with my friends, I like it to just be positive, good things.
Yep.
Unless things are really, really low, and they get that way sometimes. You got to recognize, what I'm saying? So,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's all I got about that one.
Yeah, and we didn't even mention the first part you said, where be able to admit when you're wrong, which
Yeah.
I used to be personally the worst person about, if something happened on my watch and it was actually my fault, then I would try to find a way to spin it so it's not either all my fault or it wasn't my fault at all. Same thing when I'm saying something and then it comes out minutes later that what I said was just completely wrong. So I think personally I've gotten better about it, but I think it comes with the courage. You got to have a good amount of it, and you have to push your pride to the side as well.
Yeah.
When admitting it's tough, it's not easy, especially being a man, and men believe we have all the right answers. It's tough, but it makes you more of a genuine person and a genuine human being when you actually can admit, your fallbacks, basically.
Yeah, that's hard to do for sure, because I felt like when I was coming to terms with being quote unquote found out about some of my shitty behaviors or flaws or whatever, it's hard to deal with, because you kind of have this self-image of yourself, and when something you do conflicts, like something negative that you do conflicts with that image, and then you have to face it. That's really hard to do. To take ownership of that type of thing, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone has their different sensitivities and problems to things. Like maybe you shouldn't drink alcohol because you get a little wild and crazy. You know what I mean? Or it's just different. But it's hard to. All I'm saying is, if you can be able to totally accept that you are a flawed, very much sometimes shitty human being, just like anyone else is capable of, and accept it and be humble and be honest, you're gonna be doing just fine. And it's hard to do. It's hard to get to that point where you start to see, how you are, and it conflicts with who you want to be or who you think you are. Mm-hmm. Like for me, I always thought I was way more friendly all the time and happy-go-lucky. That was my self-image. And then a lot of times I'd be short and snappy, aggressive, negative, a lot more than this image of myself I had in my head. And then whenever I would, address that side of me, I would just get so frustrated and down on myself, like I'm broken, you know what I'm saying? But really, it's just who I am. I just like to rant sometimes. I'm not going to handle my life like Chadwick Boseman would. Mm-hmm. Did I say his name right? Boseman,
yeah. I'm
crazy. But that's okay, because there's all different flavors of people, Like Dolly Parton.
True.
She's like the sweetest, kindest person. She's like a role model for lots of people. But we all can't be Dolly Parton. You know what I'm saying? Like we all have different natural personalities that go different. I'm just saying, like, if you can accept who you are instead of who you think you are, and you'll go through that by the time you're 30, late 20s, you'll know who you are. Accept
Absolutely.
it. But just, obviously don't settle with your flaws, whatever I'm saying you struggle with, and say, this is me. But accept what you struggle with and who you are. That's it. Just be honest about it, if that makes sense. But man, we are really sticking on this first one.
I love it. Let's get the next one.
You should see this page of topics we got.
Hit me with the next one.
This one's interesting to me. This was the second highest one. And actually, there was a few different mentions of this one towards the top. This one is simply cooking. Cooking.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, what's interesting about this, and I don't want to sound sexist at all, but since I've been dating and whatever my whole life, there's been, I can't think of one woman. There hasn't been as many women as you would think that like to cook. Like the stereotype. Like
That's
the
definitely
women
grown old as the years gone past.
Yeah. Which is fine, but it's surprising is all I'm saying. Like the surprising amount of women I've known that don't cook as well as I do. and I don't even cook that well, but I enjoy cooking.
Damn,
it's
Jesse.
interesting because it's like a I guess our gender role stereotype thing is like the women cook and the men don't for some reason. And some other guy wrote on there on this Ask Men. Some guy wrote, some girl I was dating shamed me because of how much I like to bake. She said that to him, and which I thought was interesting. It's like baking is a female type thing, and and he was shamed for it. Isn't that crazy? So yeah, fellas, learn how to cook. It's a good time. Okay,
cooking a dope. Stirring with the Uzi. Yeah, like seriously.
What?
Yeah, like, okay, tie it back to the question. What's something every man should own, know how to do, or done by the age of 30? Cook. I feel like, I don't know, I enjoy cooking. I do. But I don't see as a label as much as I guess it was before. As in, like, this cooking is your job. Doing the dishes is your job.
Right.
Cleaning is your job. Especially if you're in a relationship and a marriage. It's just going to vary, It's going to vary by the different people that are in this relationship. So obviously, if you got this guy that has never cooked at all before the age of 30, you better believe he's not going to have the confidence to cook for his new girlfriend, or you know what I'm saying? Like, and then probably the girlfriend might be thinking like, oh, he never cooks for me, and they never probably even discuss like, oh, this guy's never cooked before, so he has no idea to cook. He doesn't want to be embarrassed, And then the pride comes kicking in. So I don't know. I find it interesting. It could be a little bit deeper thinking than just like, oh, he doesn't like to cook because he doesn't have time or something like that. It's interesting. It's really interesting.
It makes me think of some stuff I used to struggle with in my younger 20s. The ideas and the pressures I put on myself. Because I was like, I'm a guy, so I should be expected to do this, X, Y, Z. And the one I had a hard time with early on was I have to make more money and progress to make more money, more money than the woman because I'm supposed to provide, which is fine and good to a degree, right? But I basically put so much stress and anxiety on myself because of the way I thought that way. I don't know where I got that thought from because my parents aren't that way. So I think it's just fear, I guess. If you're not, as a guy, what do we have to offer? You know what I'm saying? Like, so you think, in order for a woman to stay with me, I have to be making more money, security, which is true for probably quite a bit of women, and it's fine. It's a good ambition if that's your motivation. But there's a lot of crazy thoughts I would have that I just put on myself. Cooking wasn't one of them, but that's an example. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like,
I can't imagine. Actually, I have met women that are insecure about their ability that they don't cook, and so they're insecure about it, thinking, I'm embarrassed to say I don't like cooking. Is that okay with you? And it's like, yeah, I love cooking. But then it's so ridiculous that they have that insecurity. So then I think, well, what? Maybe it's ridiculous. I'm also having the same insecurity about I have to make more money than you, or you'll leave me, or whatever. It's just stupid. What else? I mean, is there a little bit of truth to these things? I don't know, but
yeah.
What else can we evaluate? That's stupid and anxiety-inducing. And where did these ideas come from?
Yeah.
The 50s?
48,
I don't know.
49, yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, unless you got anything else about cooking or any other idea about that, I'll hit the next point.
Next point, please.
Next point, which is a big one. I struggle with this one. The older I get, more and more and more. And coincidentally, the more I struggle with it as I get older, the more I'm putting myself out there, like this podcast. And this one is learn how to not care what people think. Remind yourself when feeling self-conscious or insecure. Just remind yourself. And I put in parentheses, for me, very much. And I say that because the more I put music out or a stupid YouTube video of just me
It's not stupid.
doing whatever, or a podcast and promoting it or telling people, yeah, I do a podcast, I feel incredibly insecure because I'm thinking all these negative thoughts. Instead of excitement, I'm thinking, sometimes I'm like, man, people probably think XYZ, all these negative thoughts, right? So, and honestly, yeah, how often do you think of all the other people around you in a negative way? I don't think of really anyone too much. I don't think about other people as much as they probably think I think about them. Does that make sense?
Whoa.
So that's what
Yes,
I
it
got
does.
on that one, Justin, and you can, I don't know if you struggle with that. I don't.
used
You
to,
probably
and-
don't, but
And we talked about in a previous episode, like with working out, and like how I always
Yeah.
avoided the weight room because there were so many strong people there lifting, and I don't want to be that little guy lifting these baby weights and then just getting judged like, why is this dude in here? And then like if my form's not correct, people are just judging me and thinking about how I don't belong. And that used to eat me away. And then I just like, I'm just gonna go run because I can run by myself and no one can judge me for how I run, or at least I don't think about it when I run. But yeah, so I had to erase that mindset, and I think that just came with age, because I was probably just so hard headed when I was younger that someone could have spoke to me about it. It was like, hey,
yeah.
don't think like this. It's not healthy. It's not the best way to live. But I've probably been hard headed, like, yeah, what do you know? You're not the one that goes in there and just thinks he's nothing. So yeah, and you mentioned you struggle with it now, with the stuff you put out. Is there a way that you think, and if people can relate to this, do you think there's a way that we can kind of build off of it or
Well,
fight it?
We'll go back to the silver bullet, right?
Yeah.
We got to remind ourselves that we want to be like those other eagles that we aspire to be like. And what are those people doing? They're just uplifting the people around them as well.
Yeah.
The naysayers, the ones that I'm probably insecure about what they think, the negative feelings and things. You have those people. Mm-hmm. But why am I so concerned about their opinion?
Why
They're
are
not
you-
doing anything. They're not the one. They're not someone who's successful at the things I want to be successful at. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if we had. You know what I'm saying? If like Sam Decker told you sucked at basketball, that would hurt. But if someone that sucks, saying something, man, this lightning is crazy out here. Saying something like that you should also take into account that they're what are they doing?
Yeah.
So, see, I'm pumping myself up right now. You can probably hear it in my inflection that I'm getting riled
To
up.
actually
because
go back to what you were saying, like if Sam Decker said I sucked at basketball, did you say that would hurt or would not hurt?
Oh, that would probably hurt way more, right?
Even if I know he's much better than me, would I expect him to say that I suck?
I don't know where we're going with this. I'm confused.
Me neither.
now.
I was just trying to clear it up so I could think with you. I like riding the same train as
Well,
you.
I think I was just saying
It was hypothetically.
his opinion matters more because he's in the same
Correct.
field
Yeah.
that you're aspiring to be, right? Or if you
Yes.
were wanting to be a superstar basketball player, is what I'm saying.
Picking up what
But-
you're dropping now.
But then there's like some other random person who's never picked up a basketball is saying blah, 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 negative.
Which
Then
goes
why-
back to what we were saying about we're playing our own game. We're not focused on
Exactly.
anyone else's game.
But it's always those people that have the
Mm-hmm.
negative stuff to say. They're not doing anything. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just reminding myself. This is why I say
do.
I have to
They're
remind
peons.
myself not to care what people think because they're chumps anyway.
They're chumps and peons and plebs, man. The CPP. That's
Don't
what they
wanna
be. Damn it.
Hey, I hope I hope everyone listening here is pumped up as we are, because that's what I'm saying. We're here to take your week. Every 2
Bang
weeks,
on my
we're
chest.
here to remind you that you are striving for greatness and you are a blade to be sharpened, and we are here, at Whetstone, to let you know we're ready to cut through. That choo-choo train of success is back, baby.
That's a sign of overtime. Next point, please.
Next point on the Ask Men topic here. Well, let's see. I don't want to hit that next one. We kind of already hit that one.
Yep.
Well, which one looks interesting to you out of those?
It's funny because there's a couple points here that we actually hit before we even dove into this topic. Like, cut off bad friends or toxic people. Keep your circle small. We just talked about this, and this was before we even dove into the topic, right?
Yeah,
Isn't that crazy?
that one's so important.
It's like you think we're just coming up with this out of our ass, but we're not.
No,
Everyone else is thinking like this.
that's hard. That one's tough for me because I want everyone to like me. Blah 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 blah
Yes.
blah. So
Please like me. Please like the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
yeah, so actually evaluating the people that are lifting me up, and I'll tell Katie the same stuff. My girlfriend, because I think we both kind of struggle with that, like recognizing, what are we getting out of this friendship? Because it seems taxing a lot of the time. And I'm not saying you have to get things from people, but I mean, you kind of should though, right? You want people that are so on top of their game, and they can help you with your struggles, and you vice versa. But what is the good positive? Is there a good positive motivation there? You know what I'm saying? And just recognize it. Where you want to be. It goes back to that bullet. You want to fly with the eagles. What are they doing right? Is that what you want? Is that where you want to go? You know what I'm saying? Like I could tell sometimes when people find out I'm doing a podcast, they get a little twinkle in their eye, and I feel weird telling people. But I was just with a guy here, and I told him, I was like, look, I can't. He wanted to go somewhere at like 4 or 5, and I was like, look, I got a prior engagement. I got to do something in my room, and he's like,
Yeah.
He's like, what? Why are you going somewhere? And I was like, no, I do a podcast every 2 weeks, and I felt weird saying it because I didn't want it to be like braggy or something. But he was just like, what? Oh, that's so cool. I've been wanting to do that too. He's super into science and rockets and space and well versed in all that. And I was like, well, that's interesting. You really should do that. Mm-hmm. So I felt like he got a good, maybe he had this, aspiration he's wanted to do, like a podcast. And
Yeah, dude, I can relate to that so much because, as I mentioned last episode, in my whole workplace, pretty much, I ended up finding out that I do a podcast. This is something I wouldn't just naturally bring out in conversation.
Right.
They'd probably find it, after getting to know me and whatnot. So it's a little bit weird, like, hey, welcome Justin to this place. He does this, this, this. But now, like, as I'm working with these people, they know this, and you can actually see the genuine interest that they have, and they're actually asking questions. And, it's like, oh, actually, yeah, I don't mind actually talking about this a little bit because you actually seem like you're interested.
Right.
So that kind of emotion that I have, not necessarily being ashamed. I'm not ashamed of this podcast at all.
No.
But do I want to kind of like pick and choose who the listener? A little bit, like, hey, I'm not going to go down that road. But I will say that it is eye-opening when you actually have people show the interest in what you do for fun and the time that you put into something. And you get that, that like, yes, this is good.
Yeah.
I feel good about this. So I can relate to that. How they're like, yeah, I do a podcast every 2 months.
Which is weird because our general vibe every time is like very positive and trying to push, motivate, or whatever. We're talking about these topics. And then I also have that same thing too. I don't want people to kind of know I work with or whoever. But it's like, but if people are going to receive it, and usually people are way more excited and like interested in that anyway, then I think so. It's like I have this negative, like, this idea that people are going to receive it negatively or think like, oh, he does a podcast, that's self-centered or something weird, But so many of our friends that listen to it get, they'll message us something very positive or whatever all the time. So you don't know what kind of influence you're having on people. We should just share it. All right, Justin.
Yes.
I ain't going to hide myself no more.
No. That ends today.
It ends today.
Speaking of ending, my beer's almost gone. And listen, I gotta give another shout out to Spotted Cow, man. Listen to this. Expect this ale to be fun, fruity, and satisfying. You're in Wisconsin when you see the Spotted Cow. Only in Wisconsin. I mean, come on. And it's great because this is New Glarus Brewing Company. And it was like 30 miles from where I was born and was raised. And like I never went there.
Dang,
But
man.
okay, sorry, I didn't mean to take that. I just love it, man. It's so good. But I agree. Starting today, folks. I'm not ashamed. We're not ashamed of this. I'm gonna flaunt it. I'm gonna
Hey.
flaunt it with my shirt off.
So we're going to shift gears here for a second, ladies and gentlemen.
Are we?
Just for a second here.
Okay.
Yeah, so I want to, I don't want to talk about all the stuff that's going on today. Not really.
Nope.
We've all heard it enough.
Yep.
Between the hurricanes and racial tension and politics. Mm-hmm. We know what's going on. What I want to know is, so we did an Instagram Live for about 10 minutes before coming on here. That was fun.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And we had a question here from Becca Todd, someone I know from Augusta, Georgia. Shout out
What up,
to
B?
Zach.
I never called me.
So she mentioned the I don't know if there's much to say about it. She alluded like there was something to say about it, but the Masters, what they
Yeah.
do, just cancel it.
So they canceled it or they postponed it and they pushed it back. So now it's happening in November, and they just announced not too long ago that people still will not be able to attend it to watch. No spectators, just like it has been for golf. And you know personally, being in the Augusta area, how much that area depends on the Masters and all the people pouring in.
Yeah.
So pretty significant, right? Like for that city.
Well, I guess so. I have mixed feelings about it. Okay, because when the Masters comes through, it seems a very much Richie type of sort of crowd and beneficiaries. You know, people will rent out their big houses and just make more money. So I don't necessarily really care. I don't see it helping out the whole community, if that makes sense. But I'll tell you what, I lived there for 3.5 years, and when the Masters came through, the only thing I saw was more traffic. You can't even, as a local, you see no part of it. So I don't know. It's not my city. I'm not a golf fan, but all I can say is, I mean, some of the local businesses, probably downtown, but the whole world's a mess right now. Businesses are just, struggling. I don't even know what's going on. Mm-hmm. But I thought there was probably more interesting things to the story than that. But I guess they just postponed it like everything else, right?
Yeah. Postponed it, and now pretty much no one can attend, like, basically every sport. I don't know why I was talking that slow. I normally speak a lot quicker than that. But we also had another question brought up on Instagram Live, which I have to mention again. We had about 150 people attend.
In a matter of 5 minutes, yep.
In a matter of 5 minutes, they just kept pouring in. You get notifications like, hey, Sailor Jesse's on Instagram. Oh, Justin Cape has joined. And then all of a sudden, all our friends, family, and then people we didn't even know from Asia, Africa, New Zealand. A bunch of people came in.
That's true.
There was another question towards the end, something about podcasting. And I don't have that video anymore. Yeah, because it happened as you were shutting down. It may have been, sorry whoever it was. I think it was the Lithuanian person that listens to us quite frequently. I know Global Enterprises was happening here at Brew Your Mind, people. And I think it was a question like, is it challenging to podcast? Which is an interesting question because it's something I actually spoke to Pat about. Shout out Pat again, New Glarus Brewing Company, Spotted Cow. Delicious beer. So, hashtag not an ad. He mentioned, like sometimes, he was interested in like the podcasting process a little bit. And it's not the first time I had that kind of question because, especially for you and I, we do it and we're not the only ones, but we've had to, come across some obstacles when doing it. Me being in England, you being in Alaska was 9-hour difference, 10 maybe. And on top of that, you work shift work, and then I work Monday through Friday. So you'd have to sacrifice your off time after you got off a night shift. But by the way, let me applaud you on that because at the time I was like, man, that's awesome. I mean, that's really cool you doing it. But now it's like, oh my gosh, the fact that you did that, you are amazing. Because when I get off of a night shift, that's 12 hours.
Oh,
No, I don't want to talk to you on a podcast, Jesse, even though you are a beautiful soul.
it's rough.
So I applaud you for doing that. That was really awesome to you. But yeah,
Well, thank
it
you.
is a challenge to do a podcast.
I think we have talked about this, but this was probably 15 or 20 episodes ago. We've talked about it, so we can talk about it again. I love talking about it. It's very interesting,
Yeah.
because it's a very if people. I think if people are doing a podcast well and it flows well, they make it sound easy. And I'm not
Yes.
saying that we do that, but
We try.
there's been a couple episodes where I'll just phone it in. I don't come in prepared exactly. I kind of am leaning a little bit more on Justin to have some topics, and I just hope I can talk and rant about it, which doesn't always work, but sometimes him or I don't have time to prep. And of course, sometimes we do have time, but the motivation lacks. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'm like, yeah, I have time, but I'd rather just play Zelda. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, for you to make it sound easy, there's a lot of prep work that goes into it. And for this, it's pretty simply, unless you know exactly your topic and your niche market that your podcast is to, which ours is kind of all over the place, but it seems to be more or less leaning more towards positive motivation type of stuff. Not self-help. I don't like that word. It's weird.
Nope. Get that out of here.
Get that out of here. We don't
Get
want
the
to
ugly
help
head
ourselves.
peeking around the corner. You go back to your room.
Exactly. Get out of
Self-help
here.
looking at.
But yeah, we just got to go through each of us and be very intentional about what we're going to talk about.
Yes.
Because we want to make sure this is entertaining and helpful, and there's no dead space and lulls. And it's kind of hard to do because it's just the two of us. And a lot of podcasts, they have teams. They have people that prepare research topics, make notes, handle the video, handle the audio, and then they just show up and talk. And that's awesome. That would be the dream, right?
Yeah. And might I add also, we have yet to do an episode right next to each other. So being able to actually build off of what we're saying, we're listening to each other's voices. We can't see each other.
Yeah.
So any kind of expression that you're giving while I'm talking, I'm either out making a great point and you're making a face like, dude, this dude, just shut up. I'm trying to take over the mic. It's my time to shine. I can't read that from you. I'm going off of your verbal pauses or your all right, yeah. Let me hear you again. Yeah. So that was really, it's been difficult, but I think we've learned from it and we're handling it pretty well, I think. So when we do have an episode that we're in person, which is going to be happening, people put this on your calendar in the year 2020, Jesse and I, in-person podcast. That's going to be awesome. And I think it may even be like a better product than we already put out. I said product like this is something we're selling. But, yeah.
We're selling positivity here. All right. But it's there it is. Get fired up. It's only as hard as you want it to be. I mean, you could get on here and be two dudes that just shoot the shit for an hour or two or whatever you want to do. And then you hit upload. That's it. But the way that we do it, we like to be structured. And plus, I like to make things a little bit harder. So when I joined this podcast, I was like, we need to do video. So that is just a whole nother complicated mess. Sending files to each other, then, editing that. And then if you want to make it even harder, you can edit a teaser. You could do all these extra things. You know what I'm saying? So
That's what's great about us is we started swinging for the fence immediately.
Yeah, it's true.
Like we did the episode a week. We did the teaser every week. We did the YouTube video every week. We scaled back the episode, how often it comes out, but the teasers are still there. YouTube videos are still there. The engagement with Instagram page is still there, and a little bit on the Facebook page, which I got to mention. There is a Facebook page out there for what? What's amazing? No way. Did that? That's really awkward. I'm recording this in GarageBand, and it had an audio clip left over of you laughing, saying, "That is amazing." So it sounded like you legit just said that in my ear. But it was a clip from the last episode.
You put it at the very end. I think I heard it.
Yep.
Last time.
That's really awkward. So I apologize for that. But I was like, "What's amazing? What are you talking about?"
So weird.
So yeah, what I was saying, Facebook page. There's a Brew Your Mind Facebook page. Don't forget to like it. I put all the teaser up there every week, so you can check that out. But yeah, Jesse, I know you had a bunch of topics. Good thing about that is they don't know what they are, and we can use them next episode. So what do you have before we shut it down?
So once again, I've got a few messages from people listening, some friends. Thank you. Even if it's one message, that means a lot. You know, that if it's a positive message, you know, we're getting some good, you know, reception. That means a lot. It's a lot of good. That's all we need, you know, to let us know that we're still on the right path. Just let us know what you're thinking. If you want us to talk about anything, just shoot us a message on our Instagram page, Brew Your Mind Pod. Right, that's it.
That's right.
Why do I get everything mixed up? It's like my memory just goes
you
away.
hate being here.
Every time I do a plug. And also, this will be out, well, obviously you're hearing it, but this should be up on YouTube by the time you're hearing this, hopefully. It says episode 36, and I'm going to put it on YouTube. And if you'd like to please subscribe to us on YouTube as well, and leave a thumbs up if you like it. Mm-hmm. That means a lot. So eventually we'll get back to doing it once a week, I think, maybe. Like you said, it is kind of tough. I think if we keep pushing forward and maybe we can bring a couple people on to help out with editing and stuff like that, maybe one day. But for now, I just love it, and I'm brewing my mind all the time, and I'm ready to go. I'm fired up. It's a thunderstorm outside right now here. I'm going to go run in it. That's how fired up I am. I'm going to run in the rain and get struck by lightning, and it ain't going to stop me. I got too much fire in me. You know what I mean? But yeah, dude,
storm out there.
That's all I got. We'll hit it next time with some good content, brother. We're pumping it out here. You know what I'm saying? All right, dude, that's all I got. We can wrap this sucker up if you want. Hope you guys have a great time and a great couple weeks. We'll talk to you again, right? That's all I got, Justin.
That's right, and we will. And Jesse's going to go outside. He's going to run in it because, you know, the storm's listening. You want to know why it's been listening? Because the storms are brewing. That's not the only thing brewing. What are you saying? All right. I echo what Jesse says. I have nothing else to say. So I hope you guys stay safe and have a good couple weeks. Don't forget to brew your mind. Bye.